Hey, what's up guys? Brandon here for RC Flight School. Today we're taking a look at an exciting EDF jet. What is EDF? EDF stands for electric ducted fan. So I'm sure you all have seen, full-size jets, they're turbines, they run on gas. For electric jets in RC, we use small ducted fan units with electric motors, and so they call those EDFs. Now an EDF jet, instead of having a prop, has that fan unit, and what that means is you get a little more realistic sound, a lot more speed, and a little more scale appearance. It's kind of fun and exhilarating to fly EDFs because, again, you kind of feel like you have your own jet. Electric makes it very affordable to get into ducted fan type jets. EDFs being obviously the most popular in this smaller scale. They're kind of growing popularity as you get into larger ones. So as we've seen now from ParkZone Habu next to me here, we have the Habu. The Habu is their version of a almost ready to fly, in this case, bind and fly EDF jet. What they're giving you is a jet that's pretty much pre-built. All the power systems are ready to go, matched. So you can kind of buy this, bind it to your remote, and you have a really high-speed jet with very minimal effort required to get it flying. I got the box off to the side of me because, as you can see, this thing's huge. This is a 15 size electric jet. What that means to you is very fast. These run on 4-cell LiPos. They run a 60 amps ESC, so a lot of power here. This is definitely not for a beginner pilot. You want to have a lot of experience with RC before you try to tackle one of these. They fly extremely fast, they land fairly fast, and they're extremely responsive. So if you can work with me here, I'm going to try to get it out of the box. It's hardly big enough for our set. There we go. Now the reason we picked this up and when we did is because they just dropped the price on these. So Horizon had them at I think $3.99. They're down to $2.99. Our local hobby town had them in stock still, so we figured might as well pick it up while you can still get it, because at that price they're probably going to go pretty quick. So let's pop it open and take a look. They got a lot of tape here to protect it, make sure that it's safe in transport. You can see the main wing here. This is what I'm working on getting out. And it looks kind of small for the size jet. I mean, the wingspan is not that large, but again, that's reminiscent of jets. They have very stubby wings. They're meant for high speeds, not for high lift. Here's our full wing unit. This is all EPP foam. It's a really hard foam, same thing that the Trojan's made out of behind me. It's kind of like a rubberized foam, if you will. This wing has the servos built into it, already pre-installed for you. Wires come out the top. And they have optional landing gear for this guy that you can attach to it. Depending on if you're going to land in the grass or if you have a surface that's smooth enough to land on, then you can put on the wheels. Again, EDF jets come down pretty quick, so you're going to want relatively smooth, large area to use the wheels. You have a pretty nice canopy, a little pilot figure in there. Always a nice bonus when you get a little more scale realism to her. Let me try to get out the tail piece for you. You can kind of see how these assemble. They've made it pretty simple. This is kind of, again, reminiscent of the Trojan behind me. You bolt on the tail, you bolt on the wings, and it's ready to fly. Here they've got kind of a neat configuration. Our servo, pre-installed tail servo. This one controls both our elevator halves, and they have individual linkages running to each. So you don't have any kind of slop in the system. Again, going at those speeds, you got to have a very direct link. So they got some nice push rods attached right to it. And this will be, it looks like our rudder servo that has to be hooked up yet. But servo's already pre-installed. Again, this piece is going to slide in, and it looks like a couple screws hold that on. Let's see if I can't get, oh, here's our rudder. Nothing to it. Carbon fiber stab. It's going to sit right in. A couple screws will hold it on. And the main fuse. Look at this beast. Here they can kind of see that the fan's exposed, so now you can see what an EDF fan looks like. We got our 2 intakes. Air intakes run right around here. Goes right to the EDF fan, and all that power shoots out the back of the plane. So these fans spin at extremely high RPMs. We run them at higher voltages. Need a lot of power, which is why we have a 60 amp Pro ESC tucked away in the nose. You can see it right there. AR500 receiver. And as you saw, all the other servos are already installed. This thing's pretty much ready to go. Let's see if I can't get the box out of the way. Pull the battery out for you. Wow, what a beast. Again, this is a lot of plane for $2.99. You're going to spend a lot more if you try to build one of these by yourself. And they've already done all the work for you. You just kind of attach it. All right, let's take a look. Battery. This is a pretty big pack. This is closer to what we run on some of the larger RC cars and our RC Nightmare channel. Go check that out. 4-cell, 3200 milliamp, 30C pack. We run a higher discharge rating on the EDFs because they draw a lot of current. You don't want that battery sagging. You go for very quick, usually full throttle runs on these jets, so you suck a lot of battery power, and that's why they got the 30C instead of your standard 20C that we're used to seeing. So 96 amps this can handle continuous, and I'm sure this plane can draw about half that. The reason we overkill is because when you're under hard load, you don't want the battery losing voltage. That means you lose speed. Let's stick the canopy on. I'm going to try to give you an idea of what this thing looks like pre-assembled without taking too much of your time. The wing has, if you can see now, this is the other side of our inlet. So again, the air inlets come around the side and it runs right into the fan unit. This is a nice way to build it because the fan unit is exposed. So if you need to work on the fan, replace parts, you can just unbolt the wing and the fan's right there ready to be taken out. The wing locks in with a few pins, assuming that I know what I'm doing. And that should be it. Kind of a tight fit. There we go. Okay, so now we got the start of our plane. Again, air inlets on the front. Jet exhaust, if you will, or our thrust in this case, will be going out the back. Looks like the tail slides in here with a couple pins. They got all the leads pre-labeled for us. I like that. These say rudder and elevator on them, so when you plug them into your extensions, you know what goes where. Looks like the extensions are actually glued right into the tail of the plane. Kind of a nice feature. You don't have to worry about wires running absolutely everywhere. That sits down on there, and the rudder is going to pop right down in here. And I'm assuming that since these are exposed, there's probably buried in the box somewhere some little pieces that cover all the mechanics of our servos here, and it looks like there is. For the sake of time, I won't install them for you, but now you can get a idea of the true size of this thing. It's a big jet. You're running 4-cell, very fast. Again, not a beginner plane. I'll stress that again. You buy this as your first plane, you're going to be greatly disappointed, or you're a natural and you can fly one this difficult. Kind of like this, they have a nice protective cone on the nose. I don't know if that's just for the packaging, but man, I can tell you I'd leave that on there if I'm flying. That'll give you a lot of protection against dings and nicks on the nose, which will reduce your speed a little bit if you damage it. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to say. This thing's very streamlined, ready to fly. Everything's in the box. The charger's buried in there. All you need is a radio. So we're going to link it to our DX6i here. We'll probably put this up against a Micro Striker that we just took a look at earlier. See how they hold up in speed. I'm sure this one will win, but it'd be cool to do some tandem flying. We'll see what kind of videos we can get for you guys. Now, if you have any questions, comment below. You know the drill. Post up what you have to say. If you own this thing, let me know what you think of it. If you've done any mods to it, I'd like to hear what you have to say. If you'd like to visit our website, check out rcflightschool.com. We'll get all your questions answered at a forum over at RC Nightmare. We're going to have a special section for planes there real soon. So again, appreciate you watching the videos. We'll see you guys real soon.